Welcome to this edition of You Can Get There From Here. I'm Dr. Joe Moore, Chair of the Department of Communication and Digital Media Production, and it is my pleasure each week to get to visit with some of our graduates, some that have graduated in digital media, others from comm studies, and even some that graduate with their master's degree. We get to talk about what they're doing today and how the program helped them get there. Today, we're talking with Tiffany Lor. Tiffany is a graduate in Communication Studies, and she is now the Public Information Officer for the City of Grain Valley in Grain Valley, Missouri. Tiffany, good to have you with us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while for sure.
Yeah. So I kind of have an idea because my life before becoming a professor, I was a college sports information director. I know a little bit about public information,
hmm
but where I did it for colleges, you're doing it for a city. So
I am.
tell us a little bit about what that job entails.
Okay, so as the public information officer, I just work with city leaders and I translate their big work into content that residents can connect with, and it goes vice versa too. So I kind of monitor the media, see what residents are saying, and bring those concerns to city leaders, and we find a way to create solutions for that.
So is it kind of a PR job, public relations for the city? Is it with the Chamber of Commerce? Who's it with?
So it is with the city, and we have like a lot of departments. So, police department, parks and rec, community development, there's the admin side. So I work with each department to kind of translate their work into stuff that residents care about.
How
So
big is Green Valley?
we're kind of small. I think we have about 16,000 people and we're growing. So
16,000 or 60?
16,000
16,000 and growing. Okay.
and growing.
So being the public information officer, I mean, you're 3 years out of college, and that seems like kind of a big important job.
I'm so grateful. They did take a chance on me when they hired me. I was 22 years old. So I think they saw the growth and they wanted someone to grow with the city. So I'm really lucky.
How'd you get into it?
Before that, my first job out of college, I was a news anchor with a radio station out in Sedalia, Marshall area. So I had already been covering local government. I had already interviewed like people like the governor. I've attended like press conferences. So whenever I wanted to move out to the Kansas City area, this job just kind of aligned with what I was already doing as a news anchor.
That sounds awesome. So what do you like best about the job?
When they say every day is different, every day is different, and almost every hour is different too. One minute I'm like at the police station fighting crime, and then the next it's like a water main break. So every hour is different, every day is different.
So what kind of skills that you developed while you were in college? You mentioned in your testimonial you developed your writing skills, conducting interviews, working with social media, working with digital media. What kind
Mhm.
of skills are you applying then in this position? And give it kind of give
Yeah.
us a typical day and the different stuff that you might do.
Yeah. So I believe it when they say people don't process information unless they hear it 7 times. And so those 7 times may be different, like seven different platforms or seven different like avenues. So one might be a press release, another one might be like going door to door and hanging like door hangers or video content, social media. So all those classes that we took in college, like Excel helped me, whether it's like in person or behind a computer screen.
Okay. So you talked about maybe you're working with the police department, and then maybe with the fire department, and then working parks and rec. Is it hard for you to, um, I guess, change your hat, maybe change the way of um, thinking about all the different constituents that you're working with? How do you manage putting
Mhm.
each of those in their box?
So that is something that I'm working through. Sometimes, like, obviously, it depends what department or what the day is looking like. Sometimes, like with the police department, things are like a little bit heavier. And then, like, that's like my 10 a.m. meeting. And then at 11, it's like I'm at Parks and Rec and we're planning Halloween stuff. So it's like, I think sometimes whenever I do like content for the Halloween stuff or like just more fun things, I have to remind myself, like, okay, I could lighten up a little bit. Or I know AI is like a new thing too, but
Oh
like
yeah.
sometimes, like, if I'm creating a social media caption, I'm like, okay, lighten this up. And it's like the hard facts that I've been trained to do with like press releases and stuff. And then I like put in the hard facts into ChatGPT and I'm like, lighten this up and create a fun caption. So that kind of helps too. But um, it is kind of hard to, you know, turn off some emotions and then the next hour I have to be back on. So,
So I'm glad you brought up the AI part because just yesterday our digital media production faculty had a meeting and we talked about how AI is starting to become a part of the profession,
mhm,
but at the same time, the person has to have the creativity to go into it. So maybe ChatGPT can help you word it, but you have to come up with the prompts for it. So talk a little bit about that, how you use AI to
mhm.
help you with your job.
So it's so weird because AI has like, I guess, like memory now. So I've been using AI for like I guess almost a year. So it kind of like recognizes the voice and tones. So like even now if I'm like if I put a prompt in and I say like give me 10 facts about myself, it'll be like you work for the police department, but sometimes you work with like Parks and Rec. And so if I put in a template and I'm saying like right now I'm doing a press release for Parks and Rec, create it in that tone, it'll create like a press release in that tone for me.
And then do you go back through what it's produced and you do the fact checking and the
For sure,
rewording
yes.
type? Yeah.
Yes, you have to do that. And AI, like their tone is just like it doesn't feel natural. So you have to go in and like put your own tone to it and just use words that people actually use because AI likes to use really fancy words. So um I guess it creates an outline of information and key points that you want to include in like if you're going into a press conference, you would want those bullet points or talking points.
Yeah, because I mean, AI is a tool, right? It can help set it out, but you have to personalize it, correct?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
It AI is not all the way accurate. So like even now, like just more than prompts, they have like it's gone into editing and stuff. So I don't know. I there's like we recently just redid our social media policy and in our policy, like a lot of people have to include like some of our content is AI produced now. So we haven't gotten there yet, but I know some agencies are doing that.
Well, that ended up being a timely little conversation right there about AI
Yes.
because we are, in this profession, that the communication field, there's a new social media every day, and the
Mhm.
technology's changing every day, and we are in a constant trying to keep up and catch up and stay relevant and stay current. What in your background in your education here at the University of Central Missouri helped prepare you for that?
Um, well, obviously the curriculum helps with that and everything changes, but I also was fortunate enough to be in college when COVID happened, so everything changed. And I would just say like that itself was enough to force us to adapt. And I feel like the workforce now and students going into college now or coming out of college, we're so different from like everyone else in the workforce because we had to do that change so young. And even now, like we're able to hop on Zoom calls or do hybrid work, do remote work. So that helps itself too.
I think one of the things I know one of the things we talk a lot about in college is critical thinking skills
Mhm.
and problem solving. And it sounds like as you've grown in your job in just 3 short years, you've really applied those skills that you learn in college, correct?
Yes, for sure. Critical thinking is like so like whenever I do a lot of like crisis communication. So whenever like you're under pressure like that, you do have to think really fast. And it hasn't always been like that for me, but even as a news anchor for like a radio station, like if your equipment's not working, you guys UCM has taught us like you need a backup plan to the backup plan. So um yeah.
So what, you talked about working at the radio station. I don't, we didn't have a radio station when you were in school here, did we? Or we were just getting the beat started.
You guys were just getting the beat started, and then I worked at KMMO, the radio station in Marshall. So, um, I started out as DMP for about I think like a year and a half, and so just within a year and a half, I used all those skills that I learned in DMP at the radio station, and I was so surprised because I knew how to work like a soundboard, and I knew how to record audio clips and edit audio clips. So it's kind of amazing how, I spent 4 years at UCM and just a short time was with DMP, but all the things I've learned in DMP I still use to this day.
Yeah, we were talking again yesterday that in our core, we feel like we get you prepared for the field. The
Hmm.
core classes, the video production, the audio production, the writing, the multimedia, we start getting you prepared. And then once you get in the concentrations, you really start honing in that one area. So I'm glad that worked out really well for you.
Yeah.
Last question I have for you, and this is where I'm going to ask you to use your experience as a graduate and now as a professional. What advice would you give to a current UCM student? And what would you say to a student who's considering coming to UCM to study communication and digital media?
Um, so I wouldn't do like my experience at UCM and just being in the comm studies and working so closely with DMP, I would do it over again in every single lifetime. The professors really care about you. They get to know you on a personal level. So you can't find that anywhere else, I feel. And then I think my one advice to students or recent graduates is to be open to opportunities and it's okay to take chances on jobs that don't seem like your dream job because once you're like fresh out of college, every opportunity is a stepping stone and you'll learn something, even if it's like a bad experience, like you're still going to learn and grow from that. So be open to new opportunities.
I love that. Be open to new opportunities and don't be afraid to make those mistakes and learn from them. So, Tiffany,
Yes.
thank you so much for being here. It looks like you're doing some really exciting things in Green Valley. I'm going to hop on their social media and check out some of your work.
Okay, sounds good. I just made a TikTok yesterday on the police department page, so you'll have to go check it out.
I will have to take a look at that. Tiffany Lor, thank you so much for being here and good luck to you. We're proud of you and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. And thanks all of you for tuning in today. Remember, you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/UCMMN. You can also listen to every episode on Spotify. Again, this is Dr. Joe Moore reminding you, you can get there from here. Have a great day.